conversation with the chairman of DeltaTech, the casino czar himself, Mr. Jaydev Mody. Thank you so much for joining us on ET Now. Hi. Good to have you on board, and what a lucky man you are, making your pleasurable pastime, one of your pleasurable pastimes, a profit-making business. But it must have been very tough during the pandemic, and you must be heaving a sigh of relief that things have opened up. So what was that like?
No, it was very bad because we have a large contingent of staff, and taking care of them and getting them tested, getting them admitted in hospital, some of them, feeding them, getting them provisions were really tough.
Yeah.
But we did it. And on the other hand, we were losing money because, we're paying salaries and the ships need to be operating, etc. So it was very tough. It was very, very tough. But we came out of it all right.
Yes, you certainly did, and that's being reflected as well in the kind of numbers that you've been reporting in terms of the online gaming casinos, that as well as your the gaming division of casinos as well has been doing quite well. So what's the kind of run rate that you currently enjoy? What kind of projections are you looking at?
No, we are back to pre-COVID levels in terms of visitation. It's been steady, and we had a bit of a growth in the third quarter of 21, and it continues. It continues, and we are doing fairly well.
Yes, and when it comes to the margin picture, if you can just elaborate a little bit more, because originally you used to maintain that 43% margin. Now that's come down to 33, 35%. When do you think that you can recoup that 43% or just go back to those kind of margins for the company?
We'll recoup a bit, but license fees have gone up, fuel costs, what the ships run on have gone up. So until fuel costs come down and license fees are not going to go down, the only way to do it is to, kind of increase our top line, where and making sure the cost remains the same, and therefore dropping to around, to about 35, 38, we can maintain our margins at that level, I hope.
Okay, fair enough. I will come to DeltaTech, but for now, let's just talk about online casino, online gaming rather, with Adda 52. How has that really shaped up for you? Because COVID definitely gave it a big boost. So what kind of projections are you looking at for online gaming? Because it is the new millennials' choice.
Yes. So it's we haven't had much of a growth after the first quarter of the COVID year, when we had a jump, and then we maintained the higher level, and after that it's been reasonably flat. There's a lot of competition. There are a lot of other issues, in that business. But what one needs to do is to do more and more of the multi-gaming platform, which we've now started, and maybe look at acquisitions and grow in that way. And otherwise, we've been growing, organically, steadily, very, very little, but we've been growing over the last 3 years.
So when you say you will be looking at multi-gaming and acquisitions, a little bit more about DeltaTech, because it's a mammoth 550 crore rupee IPO. There's OFS plus fresh issue of shares, and it's been described as, the war chest for the online gaming business.
That's right.
Any more details you can share in terms of timeline, strategy, acquisitions?
So we've filed our documents with SEBI, and we hope to get cleared in the next 2 to 3 months. And markets being the way they are right now, we don't know when we'll launch the IPO, but it should be hopefully around the end of the year if markets improve. So, this SEBI approval is good for a year. So anytime within the year, hopefully end of this year. And the IPO, of course, is to raise money, to look at all kinds of, there are lots of opportunities in the market. And we hope to, look at a good one once we've done the IPO, and grow inorganically.
Fingers crossed with this market volatility as well. One doesn't know.
That's right.
So any acquisitions planned on that front?
There are so many options.
Okay.
But we'll only kind of move forward once we have the money raised, etc.
Yeah.
And then more seriously kind of get into that.
And how do you plan to take on the kind of stiff competition within the online gaming space? What kind of market share are you targeting?
See, in poker, we are already market leaders, so
Yeah.
it's not much of an issue. Multi-gaming platform is very, very competitive, but we have some good products, and we hope to invest in that and get more and more users. Our Rummy has been sluggish, but we've seen some kind of movement over the last 1 or 2 months. It's doing much, much better. There are mammoth companies in Rummy right now, very, very large, very profitable, a lot of money to invest in acquisitions and profitable. So we think that's a big area. It'll take time to compete with those giants, but we are on it.
On course, at least. Yep. Now, when it comes to even, the hotspot, which is Goa, where you have all of your offshore casinos, there's the hotel business. Tell us what kind of visitations you've seen, what kind of growth, what's the game plan for most of these resorts as well as the casinos?
So the current business we are seeing, we are doing about 115,000, 120,000 people every month. And the idea is to increase the spend. Today the average spend is 18,000, 19,000 to upscale that and take it to 22,000, 23,000, get growth accordingly. And hotels are doing fabulously, very well, but it's such a small part of the business, really doesn't impact our numbers too much. And for the future, we are looking at doing this integrated resort, which in the north of Goa.
I have questions lined up on that.
So that's really going to be our future.
Yeah.
And when you want to know more about that, I'll tell you.
Yes, of course. Now, I just want to clarify, just for the benefit of our viewers, with respect to this taxation and GST for online gaming, because in the conference call, it was said that anyway, since July 2017, you guys have been paying 28% for casinos. For online gaming, what will be the impact and what's the appeal or what's the request to the government or the ministries on this front? So
some media has actually thought that we were at 18 and now going to 28 on our core business, which is our offline on our ships and our casinos. We were always 28%, and we continue to remain 28%.
Yeah.
As far as online gaming is concerned, nothing has been decided yet.
Yes.
The GOM has been formed. They want to look at each individual business, how it operates. Whilst they were earlier planning to pool all the businesses, whether it's casinos, online gaming, or horse racing, they wanted to say all these businesses are gambling and therefore should be treated the same way, which will not work. Now they're looking at each silo differently. They're going to be visiting race courses, casinos, etc., and trying to understand how the business actually works, and then recommend the method of valuation for GST. We've been at service tax and gaming tax, entertainment tax for the last 15 years. We've been paying in a certain way, and we hope to continue paying that 28% in the same way. As far as online gaming, our online gaming business may be impacted because it may go from 18 to 28, but we still need to see what is the method of it.
But how much is online in terms of the total revenue pie?
Very small.
Negligible.
Yeah, very small, 20%.
Okay. You were talking earlier about that increased cost, yes, from everything from fuel to inflationary pressures that we've been seeing in consumption. They've all gone up, and it's a very consumption-driven business. So how are you dealing with curtailing of costs and maintaining costs?
You have to look at each, line by line, go into all costs and make sure that you control costs. And we are trying to do that. But in some cases, like fuel or license fee, like I mentioned earlier, there is nothing we can really do. And wherever we can do something, we are doing something, and that's about it. We will bring down costs, and it's going to be tough. But our main aim is going to be to increase our top line, and
By how much? What are the projections that you're looking at?
Whatever we can. Our business you can't predict.
Yeah.
Because you can even, as a casino, you may lose sometimes, you may win sometimes. So as long as your average growth is there, It all depends on the visitation. So you have to increase visitation and therefore top line.
Now, something that you've dealt with from the very start is the regulatory framework. There have been a lot of constraints on that front. Obviously, if you were to operate your business, say, in Macau or Las Vegas in the US, things would be far easier. How much of a hurdle has that been for Delta Corp's overall journey, and how are you dealing with it?
See, everything, it's a new business. It's a very, very small business. There is very limited focus on the business from government, and not full understanding of the business. So everything takes time. You need to, you need to convince the government on all issues.
Yeah.
And it's been tough, and it's kind of your path breaking, and you're doing your best to make sure it's regulated, etc. Because that's where I think the future is. In regulating the business.
So what's the update? I think this is the perennial question when it comes to Dhamma and license on that front.
So it's been 4 or 5 years since we filed a writ, and the hearings have been going on. You know, the courts take a long time to give dates, etc. Now most of the arguments have been kind of finished, and we hope that we get some kind of judgment very, very soon.
Now, if I can ask about the elephant, maybe not in this room, but in the newsroom at least, it's when an ace investor sort of offloads shares of a company, and we've seen that with Delta Corp. Any message to the shareholders on the back of this?
Are you talking about Rare Enterprise
and
Mr. Jhunjhunwala selling?
Right.
Well, he's been, he holds for years and years, and he's held our stock for a long, long time.
Right.
He's a dear friend. And we don't talk about stocks and prices, etc. He buys when he wants and he sells. He's absolutely independent.
You don't talk about stocks with him?
No talking about stocks with him.
Okay, understood.
Yeah.
So any message to the shareholders on that front?
No, there is no concern. There is no concern. HDFC has increased its stake, and whatever Mr. Jhunjhunwala sold has been absorbed in the market. It's impacted the price, but future is always good for Delta. It's always been good. It's a new business. It's a sunrise business, and we hope to keep growing.
Well, that's my headline then. Let's discuss that integrated resort. That's something that we are very passionate about. You've been working on it. And some of the environmental clearances, I think, have come through. Can you just update our viewers? What can we expect, and what's the timeline?
So all our clearances have come through. We have the land already in place. And we are in design. I mean, we've gone way beyond design stage. We are at, kind of making submissions for plan approvals, and we hope to start in this year construction. And the resort will consist of almost 1,000 hotel rooms, a convention center, cinemas, retail, a water park.
The works.
The works. It will be a destination it's a family destination really. And casinos being very, very a small component of that.
Okay.
But it will be built around the casino, of course, because that's our core business. So very exciting. And we have the entire team in place who's also very, very excited. It's looking good. If you like, I'll share some pictures of that with you.
I want to go on a junket also. Once it's all ready, you have to promise to take us there.
Of course, all of you.
Yeah, the entire crew will be coming.
Sure.
Okay, so that's with the integrated resort. But what about the kind of potential that you see from Nepal, Kathmandu? Do you think that it could form about 10% of the revenues each from these geographies?
Not 10%, because Goa is our mainstay. We have 5 casinos there. We have one in Sikkim and one in Kathmandu, which are not even closely as large. So 10% is going to be difficult, but we need to be present in that market. We are present in the market, and we are growing in those markets. And but reaching a 10% rate is going to be very, very difficult. We want to grow in Goa.
Okay, that's
and
good.
Hopefully Daman.
Fingers crossed on that, yeah. And that's really the game plan. And what about the Meghalaya government? Because they've spoken as well about opening up of casinos. They've dished out, I think, 3 licenses. Has Delta Corp been involved in any talks or gotten any of?
No, we've applied,
yeah.
and we are waiting for them to respond. They've asked for information, etc., which we've given, and if that materializes, of course, we'd like to be present in all markets where gaming is permitted.
What about the monetization of non-core assets and even Advani hotels? I just wanted to know the update on that front.
We've just monetized our Sri Lanka land prior to all these problems.
Political concerns.
Advani Hotel, there is nothing. We continue to be shareholders.
Okay.
And I'm told from all numbers that I see, the hotel is doing well. And it's just an investment. And at some stage, right now we are sitting on enough of a war chest to do our integrated resort. But at a stage when we need more money to invest in the resort, we'll look seriously at what to do with our Advani shares. Okay,
fair enough. Let's also discuss when it comes to what the game plan is for the company, to really pivot itself now in, we have to live with COVID, right? So if there are any concerns of, say, a third wave or things hampering that, how are you looking at the, really pivoting yourself in this new era of tourism in India?
See, so far, the last few strains have not been like the Delta strain. And people have, decided to live with it. Then life is not going to come to a standstill until you see something, see a variant which is, far worse than what we've been seeing recently. Now people are just like treating it like a flu and, moving on with life. They don't even test.
Yeah.
So I don't think till something happens, to the strain, a business will continue normally.
Okay. The hotel business as well, there's been a lot of integration with casinos and hotel, and I don't think you've been a big fan of the hospitality or hotel business, but it comes as part of the, the part and parcel of the business that you operate in. So how is hospitality, how are hotels faring?
See, since COVID, it's been doing well. People are traveling a lot, and we are seeing numbers far higher than pre-COVID numbers.
Okay.
But very difficult to make money in this in the hotel business after you charge for on an operating basis. We are making money, but if it's interest depreciation that you're looking at, we don't have interest, we don't have debt. But if you're looking at providing for depreciation, etc., you can't make money in this business. It's very, very difficult.
Okay.
But we need the rooms for our customers, so.
Exactly.
That is why we have these 300 rooms.
So part and parcel of the business that you're in. What about Delton Caravella, and there's one more that's been opened in the south as well?
Yes.
So
there's a hotel called the Zuri over there,
the Zuri,
five star. So we just opened about a month and a half ago. And it's, I think, right now the only casino in south of Goa. And it'll do well. People don't want to travel an hour to come, all the way north and visit casinos sometime. Now this will give them an opportunity to kind of have one close by.
What about just the global industry in terms of casino gaming? It's projected to grow very strongly over the next few years. Where does India stand amongst that? Are we still at a very nascent stage, and how will Delta Corp capitalize?
Very, very nascent stage. Since licensing is a state issue, it all depends on how many states kind of allow this. Otherwise, if you compare it to the international kind of business, which has been growing crazily over the last 2 years, we are not even a drop in the ocean. We are very, very small. And until all these, issues on GST, etc., are cleared, and more states decide that this is a good revenue source, and they also understand that there is a huge grey market for which they have nothing. They don't get a license fee, they don't get any GST, they get nothing. And those grey market apps, etc., are flourishing.
Yeah.
So it all depends on whether the state understands this and allows gaming in destinations where there are tourism kind of destinations, etc., which is great for the state, I think.
So my obvious question is then, would you look at international expansion plans, maybe increasing your forging your footprint there?
See, right now the focus is on building our new ship and to build the resort, which we want to do,
so say 2, 3, 4 years down the line, maybe.
4 years down the line,
4,
the resort will have just started.
So then that will be the focus.
No, we will stabilize that, and then look at any opportunity. And
so you're not close to opening internationally
or not
doing anything.
No. But we are very disciplined financially.
Yeah.
So right now we have the capital.
Yeah.
To do 2 things. We are doing those, and we'll do those well.
Okay, understood. So just to understand a little bit about the kind of user profile in India vis-a-vis what we see overseas, because it's very mass over here as compared to what a Las Vegas or a Macau would be. So what an average spend would be on even F&B or entry fee, how it works. Like say, I'm just, the average Joe going into one of the Delta casinos.
No, if you go internationally, there is no entry fee.
No, over here, yeah.
So you can't really compare.
Okay.
But the spends are about the same.
The same.
It's about the same, yeah. We are doing something like, I told you, 19,000, hoping to go to 24,000 per, average. And that would be the, $300, $250 kind of spend overseas as well.
Okay. And you have a nice monopolistic position in the country, without a doubt. So we'll wrap up by saying, what kind of market share are you targeting in the long term, and by what Delta Corp's just long-term vision, game plan, message to shareholders is?
Well, we are already market leaders.
Yes.
And we'll continue. We are hoping to continue to be market leaders. The game changer is going to be our integrated resort and our new ship, which is, which will have as many gaming positions as all our 3 ships today. And therefore, we'll retain our #1 position, and we'll strive to do that. In the online gaming space, we hope to grow with acquisitions, hoping the IPO goes through nicely. And grow as well in both our segments. In the hotel business, we don't plan on doing anything other than what we are going to do in the resort business, because we think it doesn't make money.
Okay.
And future is great. We are looking forward to this court order, and we are looking forward to the GST decision.
All right, the future is great. I'll end on that optimistic note. So thank you so much for joining us on ET Now.
Thanks, Avan. Nice meeting you again.
Likewise.